Hello, it's Donna from Taffy Crafting. I wish you could see what's around my desk here. It's just complete devastation. But I'm leaving for work in a couple of hours and I thought I'd do a little bit of crafting before I leave. Got a lovely sunny morning and I thought I'd make the most of having some nice light. As you know, anyone who watches me regularly knows that I'm often doing my crafting late at night because I get home late. So it's nice to be able to do something in the morning. Anyway, I've got a project for you today that all it takes is some Whisper White cardstock, one 6x6 sheets of the paper stack, and a punch, bit of ink, stamp. It's very, very simple, but you get two cards out of that. So I just wanted to show you how I made it. For this one, I've used the Highland Heather. So I've got Highland Heather ink. I've used the 4-petal punch. And this is the paper that I'm using. So this is one of the In Colours paper stack. There's the Neutrals paper stack, the Bolds paper stack, the Subtles paper stack. So there is one of each of those and one for each of the In Colours as well. So that's the one that I started off with using Highland Heather. So the one I'm going to do is using Night of Navy. So let's get on with that. So we need two card bases. So I've got two card bases here. That's one sheet of A4, Whisper White A4, and then a slice down the middle and makes two cards. So these each measure 8 1/4 by 5 7/8. So we've got two of those, and then we need a 6x6 piece of paper, and I'm just going to trim that down to 4 inches by 5 3/4. And then this one we'll keep at 2 inches. So this is the bit that come off of there, and we're just going to trim that to 5 3/4 as well. So very little waste on this, very little. And getting two cards out of a 6x6, which is a bonus. So that's what we're left with. So this is 4 inches by 5 3/4, 2 inches by 5 3/4. We'll put this one to one side for now. Get one of my card bases, and we're going to stick that on there, and I'm going to use Tombow for that, which I think this one is almost running out. It could be part way through this tutorial. I'm going to have to get a new pot of glue. So we're going to stick that on there like that. So you just got a very small border all the way around, like that. Now the next thing we're going to do is take some Whisper White cardstock, and we are going to trim that down to 5 1/2 by 3 3/4. Now we've got some exciting news about trimmers. These trimmers aren't available anymore. I do have a new one coming out, and as a demonstrator I can pre-order them. Great thing about being a demonstrator, you get to play with new stuff before customers can. So I shall be ordering that very, very soon, and I'll show you just how good that new trimmer is. Anyway, so I've trimmed that down, piece of Whisper White, 5 1/2. Did I say that was 5 1/2 by 3 3/4? And that's going to fit in there like that. But before we do that, I want to stamp it, and I also want to just kind of distress the edges. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Let's just stamp it first. The stamp set that I'm using is the Beautiful Friendship stamp set, and I'm going to be using this sentiment. Love this one. I love the font on it. So I've got my Night of Navy ink. Just going to ink that up. And I've got to remember where I stamped it, right at the bottom. I forgot what I was doing there for a minute. Try and get it in the middle. And just let that dry off. Now the next thing that I need is my sponge dauber. So just one of those. They come in a pack of 5, I think. I think they come in a pack of 5. I've had a little bit of Highland heather on that, so I'm just going to wipe that off. And then all I'm going to do is just daub all the way around, and I'm just flicking the very edge. Now the reason I've done this, I just think it takes the harshness off, and it also looks like you've got a little bit of a border going around without having to do any more matting. Mapping, what am I thinking of? Without having to do any matting and layering. So this then gives just a little extra layer. So we've gone all the way round with that. Let's just close that a second. And then we're going to take my 4 petal punch. I'm going to take the top of this layer and I'm going to push that in there as far as it will go, making sure that I've got even space either side of that punch. Grip it, punch it. And then I'm just going to stick that on there like that. Get my glue. Now you don't have to use the 4 petal punch, you could use any punch. You could use the cat punch, the dog punch, there's a daisy punch, there's a little mini daisy punch. You could do a circle perhaps and have maybe have an image there so that you can look through the circle. Lots of possibilities of what you could do with this. So that daubing that we did around the outside of the white layer just softens those edges a little bit and makes them look less harsh. So that's one. So with this one, slightly more simple, this one. So there's our DSP that's going to sit on there. But before I do that, I'm going to take my punch and I'm just going to put that through there. Again, make sure, because we can't see any paper either side of that, make sure that's even in there. I'm going to make sure I've got an equal distance. So I've pushed that in as far as it will go, and I've got an equal distance between each of those, the edge of my punch. I'm going to grip that, punch it. So that's going to go on there. But before I do that, I'm just going to stamp, same sentiment, because I don't want to change my stamp. I'm just going to put that in the top corner like that. Let's close that up. Now this is going to be stuck down there. Last bit of glue. This literally is the last bit of glue I've got in this pot. Make sure you just get around the edges of that flower to make sure that they stick down and they don't start flapping around. And we'll stick that on there just like that, and we've got a slight border all the way around. And then this one we're going to put like that, but what I want to do is just raise it very, very slightly, just very slightly. So all you're doing just with your fingers is just pushing those petals up a little bit, and it just gives some dimension. I'm going to stick that on with Tombow, but you could use tear and tape, you could use snail, you could use a dimensional. And it's quite amazing that I've got a project here that has not got a mini dimensional on it. And there we go. So one piece of 6x6 DSP. So if you were using a different design and you were using 12x12, you would actually get 4 cards out of this. No, you wouldn't. You would get 8 cards out of this. Gosh, I can't count. So there we go. 2 different cards, but using the same materials. So you would need 2 pieces of A4 cardstock, 1 piece of 6x6. This is using 2 pieces of 6x6. Incredibly good value for money, I think. So if you want any details about the products that I've used, go over to my blog. That's www.taffycrafting.blogspot.co.uk. The link to this particular project is in the description bar below, and all of the details of the products that I've used will be listed in that blog post. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, come and subscribe and hit that bell to get notifications of further projects that I'll be doing. I will see you all again soon. Bye bye.